Here we are at Pete Stevens' place. I'll just zoom this out a bit and see where we're at here. Hang on, wrong way. I'm no expert at this stuff. This is the proposed route of where they want to bring it from Alberton, across the Albert River and around Eagleby. And that's the Logan motorway there. Bringing it back here, we've got our bigger map, and once again I'll show you where we are on this one. We're just in this area here, in the bigger map. Pete's is one of the houses that's going to be resumed along the way of this monstrous road they want to do. And just showing over here is the alternate route we have. Rather than coming in beside the Gem Hotel just here, our alternate route runs over just round the bend from the Gem Hotel. It's a straight run right through all the cane fields here. No one's losing any houses through here, and it comes just the other side of Ferry Road and meets up with Beenleigh Redland Bay Road. Anyway, we'll get to Pete now. G'day Pete, how you going, mate?
G'day Livo. Hi Claire.
Hi.
So how did you learn about this road?
I first learnt about this road when I got a letter of investigation from the government, and then it was not long after that that I got a letter saying that my place has been gazetted.
Did they contact you in person at all?
I never got contacted in person. Investigation must have been very short, but basically the road is going to bulldoze my house, go straight through it. So disappointed, because I have 2 young children, one with a disability, and it's good for them to grow up. I have a little bit of acreage, and it's good for them to grow up with wildlife that does come from the Eagleby wetlands just over the river from us. We see cockatoos, everything come across, and they're living on land. They're not all glued to the PlayStation. That's disappointing for us that we may potentially lose that. It's very hard to replace. Disappointed for my neighbours. Some of them are up in age and they are a bit sick and suffering some illnesses. They're concerned, yes, maybe the government might help to move them on now in that stage of life, but they're also concerned, will they be treated fairly? There's rumours that one of my neighbours hasn't been treated fairly, and Main Roads have purchased his place. But yes, it's an impact. It's unknown what's going to happen. They keep us in the dark a little bit. No one's consulted with us, so it causes anxiety amongst us, all the residents here.
And I believe you hand built this house right from scratch. You picked this block, and this is where you want to spend the rest of your days.
Yeah, I hand built the house. I wanted to make sure I do a good job. So it took a good 4 years of hard sweat and tears, and it's still an ongoing project as a typical owner builder. But very patient wife. But yes, it's to see that go down. You know, I expected maybe to be here for quite a while, and you know, let this place benefit my kids.
Yeah, I can imagine how heartbreaking that'd be. I'm planning on being an owner builder myself, and I couldn't imagine you put all your hard sweat and tears into something, then you just get a letter in the mail saying, "Oh, sorry, we're going to take the lot," and you got to move.
Yeah.
Not can you move? It's you've got to move.
That's right. But it's disappointing. It's they reckon the 2 most trying things in your life is having kids and building a house together. That's the 2 most trying things in your marriage. So we've done it.
Yeah.
But yes, no, it's disappointing about the wetlands. I'm concerned about the road going through here because our back paddock does flood, and when we do have the big floods, it's violent rapids that go down our backyard, and I'm concerned about what the road's going to do, not just to the people on this side of the river, the people in Eagleby as well, when those floods come again, and they do come again. Yeah,
it's not a case of if, it's a matter of when.
Yeah, I've owned this property since the year 2000, and I've been living here since 2009, and I've experienced 3 floods in that 11 years, all of them quite violent, and I've seen many people's boat jetties, half a caravan, you name it, I've seen it go down this river with those rapids. So I am concerned, where's the water going to go? How's it going to be deflected with this road that gets built.
Yeah, well, even you look across here, and all that floods, you became officially an island here, didn't you?
We did. We were penned in for about 30 hours.
There's the river down the back there. You see the river down the back there, and he's got a gentle slope running down the back. I'll get a bit more shot of that a bit later. But the road's going to go straight through here, and as you can see, we're on high ground here. This is officially where the bridge has to start to cross the Albert, so you can imagine how high we are here already. And we look around that way, and that all floods as well. So when it flooded, he was officially an island here. He had people bringing food in by boat, is that correct?
Yes, our neighbour brought us in some ham and bread and milk. We were isolated for about 30 hours before the water receded enough that we could leave.
Wow.
So I guess it's okay in some ways, because I guess you really don't want to go anywhere when there's a flood like that on. But yes, it is a concern if they're going to start putting a road through here. Where is that water going to go? The biggest concern is, you can talk about where the water's going to go, but how violent the water is when it does run. Unless you see it for yourself, you'd never know. Yeah,
well, from the Eagleby side, I've seen how violent it was there. It pushed some buses sideways about a kilometre.
Yeah.
And two buses and a heap of army trucks got washed up like toy trucks against the pole over there as well.
That's right. We had SES boats come up through our backyard, and those boats could barely fight the rapids trying to make movement up the river.
Trying to level peg it. And as for your neighbours, like you're sort of the spokesman for all your neighbours here.
Yes.
This house here gets affected, or just the back paddock they're taking off that?
Both of these houses, this one and the house next door, get bulldozed.
Get bulldozed as well?
Straight through these two houses.
That's terrible.
My neighbours, the rest of my neighbours here, they lose their backyards but retain their houses. So I guess if they do come here, we're lucky they bulldoze our houses, because at least we can try and get fair compensation. But my neighbours, where they just take some of their land but not their house, they're more anxious than us, because what happens? Do they live next to a road while it's being constructed, or do they end up with a highway only metres from their backyard?
Yeah, like Jason across the road here, he loses all that back paddock over there. Hang on, I'll just zoom in on it. He loses all that back paddock over there, and it basically comes up to his back fence, I got told. And the house that's next door to you here on your left, that will be basically the only house there, and they'll have to use that as an access to the...
They will. That's why they're taking his property next door, so that they can actually make a road to go under the bridge.
To get to the house next door.
That house.
It's the one that they don't just bulldoze that as well.
Well, that's true. So the house next door, they've actually, I believe they've got a contract on that to buy.
And as for around the side of the mountain here over to Stapleton and Jacobs Well Road, do you know how many houses or properties get resumed there, or are they just taking back paddocks of houses?
They're taking back paddocks. I believe there's only 2 houses over there that they'll probably go through. Then they go through everybody's backyard at the foot of the hill.
So they'll have a freeway for a back fence?
Yeah, the road actually snakes wherever it can find the high ground above the flood.
That's
still where it's snaking.
But all the way through there, it's over hill, over dale. It's still a hell of a lot of work. And there's rumour that we do have, I know for a fact we've got kangaroos living in that area there, and we're pretty sure we've got koalas moved to this side of the mountain. As the quarry started on the other side of the mountain, they've moved around here, so they're starting to run out of areas to live as well.
The concern is they talk about the road that they're putting in at Helensvale, and they've actually got in their own government environment documents where they're saying that all the birds, all the wildlife in those areas will naturally migrate, and one of the areas they talk about is the Eagleby wetlands, which is just over the river.
Yeah,
So,
unfortunately they only believe is that the wetlands is this one little area here. The one little area here, rather than we have wetlands, 11 wetlands run all the way around Eagleby. And that's what you're saying is the Helensvale mob, they're saying, well, okay, their birds can piss off from there and they can go and live up at Eagleby.
Yes.
But now they're planning on going through Eagleby anyway, so...
Well, if I speak to some long-term people, like in this area, there's people that lived here all their lives. Speaking to some of them, there used to be an abundance of native wildlife in that hill.
Yep.
And what's happened when the quarry came and other things, the noise, things like that have just driven the wildlife away. So even if they don't say that they're putting the road through the wetlands and they say it's just that one area, just putting the road next to the wetlands is going to cause noise and pollution enough to drive the wildlife away, just like it's happened on this side of the river.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'll just ask your opinion with the alternate route that the Eagleby and Wetlands group has come up with. What's your view on that alternate route that we're proposing?
I like it. I think it's simple and I think it's effective, especially now with COVID and everything else. It's definitely affordable, and I believe that someone's told me, politicians informed me that there's potentially in the next 10 years another 8,000 houses to be built down at Redland Bay, and it makes a lot of sense to take the road and keep it in the eastern suburbs parallel to the M1 and pick up all those people down there, because I know some people that live down there, and to travel some of the narrow roads to get out to go to work, they'll make it easy and life will be better for them, just like they're trying to make life better for the people at Pimpamar and Helensvale by building this road in the first place.
Yeah, well, I've spoken to people from Redland Bay area, and they said if the ferry still crossed the river, if the ferry still crossed the river here at Ferry Road, and by the way, it's called Ferry Road because they used to have a ferry there, because our forefathers had the smarts to run it on the highest ground there, and not in wetlands or anything. They've said if the ferry still run there, they'd pay good money each week, just rather than having to go all the way down to Loganholme to get on the M1.
It's bedlam to get out of Bentley Redland Bay Road.
Yeah.
So just like it's bedlam to get out of Jacobswell Road.
Okay, thanks very much. Is there any more you'd like to add to what I think we've covered all the points of the wildlife, the personal side of it? And I can see, my heart goes out to you here that you've done all this work. You've set up out here specifically for your children and your way of life, and it's all going to get taken away. And maybe not in a flash, but within 6 years they're talking about doing it. So
yes, no. The best thing I've got to say is you worry about getting treated fairly, and that's our biggest worry. We understand a road has to go somewhere, but we don't understand the logic at all for putting the road through here. It just doesn't make sense. It hasn't been researched.
Well,
So,
the main thing is that, in my belief, I think someone at TMR got told that they want to have a solution to the M1, and they've looked at Google Earth, and it's as simple as that. You look at the green space, you look at the motorway, and you think, oh, hang on, we could go all the way around there and we could join up with where we want to put the freeway anyway. And that'd also join up with the motorway. And they've only looked at Google Earth. They haven't done a boots on the ground study before they've done any of this, and just said, okay, we're going to make this a freeway. I really can't add any more here either, except for using common sense.
no, that's exactly right, and we hope with the consultation that happens with the state government that we've finally fought to get later this year, everybody who's watching this video can see the same thing and realise that common sense does have to prevail.
Okay, thanks very much for your time, Peter.
All right, thank you.
Cheers, bye.
All right.